Hey y'all, this is All of Destiny. So some of you all may remember about 3 months ago when I did my own feed-in braids, and a lot of you all really liked the results. I definitely liked it as well, and I wanted to braid my hair again. And I went into the beauty supply store originally to grab that same braiding hair, but I ran across this cute pre-stretched braiding hair, so I said, let's give this a try, and I definitely had to record it for you all. So a few days later, I went ahead and shampooed and conditioned my hair. I blow dried it, and I pretty much used my straightening brush to get my hair even more straight. And as far as the previous braiding tutorial, as well as how I use the straightening brush, both of those will be linked down below. Just like last time, I'm also starting off with one of my braids already completed. I like to kind of get a feel for things before I just basically run up camera space. So yeah, and I'm just go ahead and I'm starting to lay my edges. So the hair that I'm using, this is the Q Prestretched braid. It's 28 inches and it comes with 3 in each one of the packs. It's 100% Connect-A-Line, pre-cut, pre-feathered, pre-stretched, and pre-layered. So my assumption with this hair is that if it's 3 on each one, I bought 2 packs and I want 6 braids, I'm going to use, let's call them bundles. I'm going to use 1 for each individual braid. That way, with it already being pre-stretched and layered and all of that, as long as I use the entire bundle for each braid, having this hair already kind of prepared for us lets us know that each braid is going to be the same length, it's going to be the same size, and we don't have to worry about trying to open up the hair and cut it and make it even and feather it and make sure that the braid fades in the end and all of that. So I'm also taking time to show you all me separating out the hair, because I went back and I read the comments on that previous video, and that's what you all mostly had questions about. So I've separated out 8 sections. If you're like me, you're going to be doing this by yourself. Position them however you may, but get help if you can, because it definitely does help. So with me standing facing my mirror, it's definitely convenient for me to just lay my hair right in front of me. So yeah, I suggest you do the same thing. Also, if you can get help with the back because you want your parts to be nice and neat, then definitely ask someone to do that. And just like last time, I went back and watched my old video because I wanted, similar results, because I really liked the way my hair turned out. I like to run some jam along my part, and then I'm also using the beeswax as well. So just kind of dipping my hands into both of those. And right now I'm sectioning my hair off to do a little accent or a small braid, because you want to do these braids before you do that large braid. And then I just use like a small mirror to kind of double check my parting and all of that. If you don't have help, you can still part your own hair. It just takes a longer amount of time. This is the amount of hair that I'll be feeding into that really small braid. So I'll be showing you all of the sizing, because like I said, I did go back and read the previous comments on that other video, and you all really wanted to see the sizing and how I separate out the hair. So for this small braid, you really don't have to add in extra hair, but since the other braids will have hair fed into them, I feel that adding a really small piece will help this braid as far as the longevity and it lasting and not really getting too frizzy too soon. This will help with that. And also keep in mind as well that with this braid, I'm not adding in multiple pieces of small hair. It's only one small piece. And this clip is also in real time. And I'm just kind of using combs to kind of keep the rest of the hair out of the way, because you don't want to pull into other sections of hair, because for one, that'll ruin the neatness of your part. And not only that, you'll have to start over. And then as well, you want this braid to be really neat because it's small, so you want that detail to really be there. And I'm just taking my time to be sure that I'm grabbing my hair tight enough to where this braid isn't loose and it's just like sitting on top of my head, So you don't have to braid this braid all the way to the end. Since it's going to be joined into the larger braid, I just kind of braid it, and then once I get to where I'm not on my scalp anymore, I just braid it a few times just to keep it from coming down while I'm working with the next section. Okay, so now that I have that braid in there, your part should still be straight for the rest of the braid that we're about to do. I like to double check everything before I proceed, and then I end up having to start over. So I'm taking some jam and I'm smoothing that along my parting space. This helps for me to have my hair nice and sleek, and in a sense, it just helps to pull all of the hair together as I'm braiding my hair along with the adding in the braiding hair. And now I'm also going in, whenever you see that the product is a little white, that's the beeswax. And then when it looks a little orange, that's the jam. So this is the size of the first section that I'll be feeding in. Personally, I like to start off with my own hair. More so, just not really like for a particular reason. I just haven't really figured out how to start off right away with the braiding hair. So the pieces, I kind of braid, and then I'm picking up another piece. I don't want to cut this clip because I want you all to see all of the pieces that I pick up and exactly when I pick them up. And then I'm just adding in this next piece. So my thumb is kind of tucked underneath. I slip it right into there. And for me, braiding my own hair, I leave that other piece hanging forward. I braid, and then I swing that around. And somehow it just ends up underneath and you can't tell. So braid again. And then I'm just going to pick up another piece of hair. I was looking back and forth because I had hair on my bed and in front of me. So I'm trying to like eyeball and look at the sizes and all of that. Still being mindful to not pull in any of the extra hair, but also trying to keep this hair detangled as well. And then I'm just swinging the other piece around. I kind of braid, and then I'm going to grab another piece of hair. Did I? Yeah, I did. And pretty much that's just that same process. These pieces, as you go further back, come on, you was doing good up until now. As you go further back, the pieces will get larger, and that's what grows the size of your braid. A lot of the comments were about like as far as how I separate out for the sizing. I don't really have a specific technique for this, like really staring at it to say, okay, this one is larger than that one. But more so, you just know that the first piece is really small, and by the time I get to that 8th piece, that's going to be the largest piece. So I was being picky in that moment, but looking back at this footage, that braid was perfectly fine. But I wanted to leave this clip in to show you all that if you neatly undo the braid, it won't get tangled and you'll be able to reuse it just to start the braid over. Okay, so this one, it looks neat, but it's doing this. Let me show y'all. Like, see that? It's loose. Like, I didn't pull the hair tight enough, so I'm gonna unplait it and just right up in this area redo it. And I didn't redo this entire braid. I only unplaited up to the loose part, so no extra hair was being fed in at this point. So it's like I'm just regularly rebraiding the hair. It's gonna be the same thing. I'm just gonna pull tighter. I'm letting you all know this because with my tutorials, I like to keep them realistic. I never like for it to seem as if I kind of just neatly parted my hair and just braided it down. So I want you all to understand the gist of how I really do my hair. That way, if you're having struggles and things at home, hopefully that'll encourage you. Keep trying it, because I don't have the camera running on all of my attempts to get this correct, because that would just run up space. But just know off camera I am maybe on some of these braids redoing them maybe 2 or 3 times. This one I only had to redo twice, but not the entire thing, just in this area. But I want this to become like a vlog style type of thing. So back to the voiceover. Okay, starting from, well, not really scratch. I'm keeping this one up, but I took the other one down, and I have a little one right here, and I just got my mom to pre-part my hair because she's leaving.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. She wanted to braid my hair. She said she would, but I'm gonna get started on it. If she's back and I'm still not done, I'm gonna let her finish whatever is left, because
I just heard something go boom, girl.
she said I heard something go boom, girl. You check and see what it is. I'm about to keep braiding my hair before they come in and kill us. I hope y'all not sensitive, because I'm not editing that out. I just thought it was funny. My room is a hot mess. I got hair everywhere. Okay, let's do this. Let me not mess up anything, since she got my parts neat. I said, Mama, if you run some of this along the part after you make the first one, you can get it even more straight. She said, no, you have to do that because you don't know how to part your hair and you can't see what you're doing. I was like, okay, professional parter. Shout out to Sweet Pea. Back to voiceover. I don't even feel like doing my hair no more. Here's the proof.
Okay, wait a minute, I'm putting some.
I didn't give you all an update. My mom is braiding my hair instead because I just don't feel like it. So shout out to Sweet Pea for doing my hair.
And don't say anything if anything is not right, because y'all know I have a cataract. So I'm braiding the best I can with this one eye. If y'all want to say it, I don't care. But that's all right, because after Thursday, I'm going to have an artificial lens. Now I'll be able to see really well. Nah.
She said, nah, my mama's so petty, y'all.
With your contacts and your eyeglasses.
Say some names.
We both
I don't know what I'm kidding, y'all, because I'm kind of holding it up. I don't have a monitor, so I'm just kind of aiming it upwards and hoping that I'm getting good footage. If I play it back and it's not good, then I won't upload it.
Throughout the week, freshen it up.
Okay. Ow, that hurt, Ma.
I got the rubber in.
That hurt so bad. But that's why I asked you to do that before you started braiding, to really smooth it. Because now you're going to have it frizzy up in there.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at it.
Before I started, I said, Mama, can you put jam? If y'all saw the previous clip of how I was kind of putting jam on this side, jam on this side before I braided, she said, nah, you don't need all of that in the hair. So now she's going back doing exactly what I asked.
You have to do that anyway, too.
Afterwards, though. But I would do it before.
Look, I got this.
She's just throwing my head around.
I got this.
Oh, this is perfect if I can prop it up right here. Are my parts straight?
No, it's like a Z.
You know what? I used to rock them Z-bars. You remember that?
So at this point, I've at least convinced her to use the jam before versus afterwards to help eliminate the frizz, which you can fix it using the foam and mousse, but it's better to have your hair as smooth as possible before doing the braid than after.
Love Lincoln, yes I do. Grandma love Lincoln, how about you?
Did you put the jam all the way up and down the whole part?
Yes, I did.
And the back, all back here too. I don't feel nothing back there. That's why it's frizzy. Along that whole part. Not necessarily the part, really it's the hair that you're putting it on.
I'm putting it on.
Okay, so still trying to convince my mom to kind of use that technique that I know had worked on my hair previously in that other video. So she's starting off the exact same way that I did. Well, sort of, but not really. I kind of have to make a little party section and then hold the 3 little pieces. But my mom, she kind of just grips it all and just begins braiding. Like she's just good at this. Go, Sweet Pea. But one thing to notice is that she does braid back further than I did before she feeds in that first piece. And so the piece that I'm handing her, me knowing this, is going to be larger than that small piece that I would feed in the previous clip in this same video. So yeah, and she kind of just swings the hair forward. Her technique and the way that she would hold the hair is still sort of the same thing, but you see immediately that both pieces are back into the braid, versus when I was braiding my own hair, I would kind of leave a piece hanging forward and then I would swing it around. I think that more so just comes from braiding your own hair versus having someone else to braid it. The positioning of the hands is different. So if you've seen both of the videos, and that's why I keep referencing them, because in my mind doing my voiceover, I'm assuming that you have watched both of the videos. So definitely check it out, because it will help you all to get an understanding of what I'm talking about comparing these 2 videos. So yeah. Look how she just be slanging my head around. So she's still feeding in the hair. At this point, she sometimes does swing it forward to position it, but then she brings it back around. So whatever works best for you, you just get a feel for this as you do it. I know you all ask me sometimes, but let's clarify though, your girl didn't start off like this. Like, go back and check out older videos. Practice got us to this point. Or me, my mom, practice for her too. Y'all get what I mean. As far as this hair tangling, I don't think she had too much trouble with the tangling, just the same as what I did. But regardless, I will say this, regardless of whatever hair you're using, for me, I found that it's easier for me to keep the hair, not necessarily from getting tangled, because it doesn't really tangle that bad, but to kind of keep going, I'm not redoing this, to kind of have that slip within my fingers. I dip into just the Softee gel or the jam, whichever one, mostly the Softee gel, and it really helps my hands to kind of just slide through as I'm braiding. And I think not necessarily the tangling and getting stuck and all of that, I think that more so comes from whatever your own hair texture is, and then also trying to add that braiding hair into it. Like you're holding 2 different types of hair. If that makes sense, then y'all get me. I try to do my best to explain in these voiceovers. So at this point, I think she is done feeding in the hair. And I do want to point out that even if my timing is different from my mom's as far as when we feed in the hair, the braid, as far as the thickness and the length, is still going to be the same. Since this bundle, or like I said, we're calling it a bundle, we know for a fact that on each braid, only 1 bundle was used, which automatically lets us know that the same amount of hair was added into the braid, if that makes sense. So that's another reason I do like this hair, because she didn't really have to guess like, oh, how much hair did you use, because it's already kind of prepared for you, you know. Oh my god. We forgot the other little one.
You can put it over there. No,
I can't, Mom. So I definitely had to take down that braid just to add my little accent braid back. And I'm just applying some foaming mousse at this point. I allow that to air dry while I trim away at any loose hairs, and then I also just kind of touch up my edges, and by then this is dry. If not, you can still just put your hair scarf on it. Since it was late, I just call it a night at this point. Definitely check out that other braiding video that I mentioned. It'll be in my description box, as well as all of the products that I use. I would definitely recommend this hair because, for one, it's basically no prep time. You just kind of separate it and just begin using it.
Just to be sure.
So, yeah, I didn't get any like finishing like outro footage, but luckily I do have upcoming vlogs that I'm wearing my braids in. So here's that. Questions or comments, leave all of that down below. And as always, I thank you all so much for watching. I got 6 long braids. They're waist length.
Close the night really quick. My braids. Long. 30 or better.
30 or better.
Like 28.
Ladies.
I mean.
You can click on the cards to watch more of my braiding videos or use the video links placed in the description box down below.
My arms are tired.